Piaf. I'd like to know more about singers from all over the world and artists from all over the world that maybe we're not all that informed about. That's what public television does. That's what we use your money for. Call us.
Now, I know that when many people make a trip to Europe and end up in the beautiful city of Paris, there are quite a few people who like to journey to the graveyard of, shall I say, Jim Morrison of the Doors, who is buried in the graveyard called Père Lachaise. And in fact, Edith Piaf is also buried there. And in fact, you'll find that there are more flowers on her grave than his grave, because she is such an important person in the French culture. In fact, when she was buried at Père Lachaise, there were more than 40,000 people that attended her gravesite. But we are here to talk about the great premiums and supporting KCTS and the programming that you're watching this evening with Edith Piaf. This kind of programming comes into your home because people have said this is the kind of documentary I like, or some will say, well, it's a musical documentary. But it's great programming, and that's what KCTS does, and it does it well. It brings some incredible programming. But consider, when you make that call, to put it on your credit card. It's that simple. You can see the 4 cards right there: American Express, MasterCard, Visa, Discover. This puts your dollars to work immediately when you call KCTS, and that's what it's all about, putting those dollars to work right away for the programming that you enjoy, like Edith Piaf. But please make that call now.
This is your television station, as we keep telling you, and that's why we have these pledge breaks where we give you the chance to support the kind of programming you like. That's not an opportunity you get anywhere else. And boy, this evening's lineup of programs certainly bears that out. If you think of Edith Piaf, you think of Lawrence Welk, you think of what's coming up, which is Roy Orbison and Hall & Oates. Only that kind of variety can be here on public television, which is a reflection of the diversity of you out there, the audience, all right? This is your television station. Please support it by calling the number on your screen tonight. Don't forget, there is a corporate match program, and if your company appears on the screen here, then of course whatever you put in, they will match it. And if your company is not mentioned as we scroll down on the screen here, maybe what you ought to be doing is going in and having a chat with the people in charge of that kind of stuff at your company and saying, hey, this is a good idea. Why don't you come on with me and help to support public television and the kind of quality programming you're seeing this evening? That is a very important thing for you to do in the future. A very important thing for you to do right now, okay, is to go to your telephone while we're taking this break here in the Edith Piaf special. Use the phone number on your screen. Yes, it works on both sides of the border, both Canada and the States. And become a subscriber to Channel 9, and we thank you.
Very quickly, let's do the premiums one more time. The Voice of the Sparrow, Edith Piaf. Wonderful audio cassette at the $50 level. The same number of songs, most of which you're hearing on the video, at the CD at the $70 level. The video of this program, which includes probably most of the archive film of Edith Piaf in existence, that's at the $80 level. The video and the CD at the $140 level. During the next segment of the program, you're going to see Edith Piaf visiting French prisoner of war camps during the Second World War, after what the French called the 1940 War, where the Nazis defeated the French army and put the entire French army that was in combat against the Germans in prison camps until the, quote, end of the war, at which time they didn't know what they were going to do with them. Edith Piaf, I'll let the tapes tell the story of what she did in the prison camps, but let it be said, and the program does not say this, anyone caught attempting to help a prisoner of war escape from a stalag or a concentration camp was immediately executed by the Nazis. Every time she went to a stalag, she put her life on the line. This was one heck of a lady, okay? Call us, please, at 1-800-443-1999 if you do not know about Edith Piaf. You need to. Vous asseoir à ma table, il fait si froid dehors. Ici c'est confortable, laissez-vous faire, milord, et prenez bien vos aises, vos peines sur. It's always a great pleasure for me to come down to Seattle from Vancouver, because KCTS is a part of my family. I know the station is here in Seattle, but they program with Canadians in mind as well. And for example, some of the British comedies that I know the Americans go, what's this about? Well, to the Canadian viewers, many people love those. Those are programmed with Canadians in mind. However, with the shifting in the cable system in British Columbia, where KCTS is no longer on 9, the support, for some strange reason, has dropped off. And yet, I'm sure that many of you
have found it on Channel 27 or Channel 30 in Vancouver and other parts of the province, and you've told your friends about it, but for some reason, and I don't understand this, the support has dropped off. So whether you're on the island in Duncan, Victoria, Nanaimo, or the Lower Mainland somewhere, or farther afield in Penticton, Kamloops, Kelowna, it's your station. They're programming with you in mind. So, but we need to get the Canadian support up there because they care about us as viewers as well. This is a station where there are no borders. It's programming for me, it's programming for my American friends. But there ain't going to be no programming if you don't make that call to support the programming that you're watching this evening. You've got to make that call and become a subscriber tonight. We want to hear from you.
Aren't we lucky? When you think about the whole run of things, we are very lucky in our time, in this century, because we have the ability, the technological ability, to have people like Edith Piaf remain with us with her performances after she has gone. If you think about it, that's only happened fairly recently in human history. And we are being able to present that to you this evening here on KCTS Channel 9 because you out there are supporting it. And the phones are starting to ring here very well, so please keep it up. If you get a busy signal, by the way, just hang on. We'll get to you eventually, all right? But we do need your support. And I'd like to ask you a question. Are you still a subscriber? You know, once you do become a subscriber, that's not the end of the ball game. You have to do it every year. You have to keep renewing your subscription. If you're not getting the 9 magazine, that probably means your subscription has run out. So maybe tonight's the night you take advantage of the fact that you got some time and the great programming on to call the number on the screen and make sure you are a continuing subscriber of public television, KCTS Channel 9.
We are going to go back to part 3 of Edith Piaf, I believe. Are we not, Stephen? We are, okay. Part 2 of La Vie en Rose. There's a great deal more, and as a matter of fact, the last 2 portions of this tape will remind you in very startling ways of Edith Piaf. And you'll remember when you heard her, and you'll remember when you saw her. She was as big as it gets in the entertainment industry. We go back now to part 2 of Edith Piaf, The Little Sparrow, La Vie en Rose.
Hold me close and hold me fast.
Edith Piaf was by now fast becoming the greatest cabaret star of her time, but she could not have scaled such heights without wonderful songs. As we continue La Vie en Rose, we look at how Piaf worked with her collaborators and at the magic they produced.
I listened to the songs. What I was really do-eyed with was not so much the tragedies of her life.
Edith Piaf, the voice of the sparrow. A remarkable, remarkable program. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. You want to turn whatever is up, down? Engineers? Stephen? Getting a feedback. You want to turn that down? Live television, isn't it wonderful, huh? You see, you can't stop the tape and start over. You can't do that. You gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. And I gotta deal with it. Thank you very much. You hear yourself in your ear, you lose all track of what you're saying. I do that anyway, so I don't need any help with it. Okay, Edith Piaf, the voice of the sparrow, the audio cassette, which is not of the program but contains most of the songs that she sings in the program at the $50 level, the CD at the $70 level, and then we do have the video of this program, which frankly contains, I would think, almost all of the archival footage of Edith Piaf certainly in her early years, pre-World War II years, in the nightclubs of Paris and all over France, all over the world, really. The $80 level for the video. I hope that some of you will be able to afford the video and the CD at the $140 level. I know that you will enjoy the music. The last song you heard just before we went to the break here was I Regret Nothing. This became the theme song of Edith Piaf. It has another little story to it. You will see in the 3rd section a great deal about her funeral that absolutely paralyzed France and Paris. But there was a battalion of the French Foreign Legion that, sans orders, actually, left Cité Belleveste outside of Algiers, their great headquarter building, and sailed for France to attend her funeral. Whenever the Foreign Legion left Algiers to fight for France or to go anywhere under the orders of France, they sang La Marseillaise. When they left for the funeral, they sang I Regret Nothing. Edith Piaf was absolutely huge in France, the greatest female entertainer of the early 20th century. As I mentioned, in 1945, she was the highest paid female entertainer in the world. And actually, third only to Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, so she beat all the men, too. This woman was outstanding. Please call and get the premiums. Please call and learn about this remarkable, remarkable person. 1-800-443-1999. Where else but PBS, huh?
Dans un drôle d'arc-en-ciel, un soldat est entré, un soldat est entré.
It is only on PBS and KCTS Channel 9 that you will see the kind of quality programming that Edith Piaf and this program that you're seeing tonight can be shown. Only here, only because you want it out there. Do you know that 76% of the funds that are required to operate KCTS and bring you this kind of programming comes from you out there? That's how important it is for you to go to the phone now and use the phone number you see on your screen to support this kind of programming, because without you, none of it will happen. There on your screen, you'll see all the various credit cards that we'd advise you to put your subscription on, because, well, if we put it on a subscription on a credit card, it's going to result in a lot more of what you subscribe ending up supporting programs and not administrative costs. It's as simple as that. So use your credit card if you can, but the thing you have to use more than anything else right now is your phone. So go to the phone now before we get back to more of Edith Piaf.
KCTS is the station that takes us on great adventures. Sometimes we are journeying to the ocean floor to visit the Titanic. Other times we are in the depths of the jungle, and on other adventures we are off into the galaxy. And these are the kind of adventures that KCTS takes us on. And this evening we're on another kind of adventure. We are enjoying an evening of music, and we've lined up right through into the wee hours. And right now we are with Edith Piaf. And it's a combination of a documentary and some of her great songs. And this is the kind of thing that KCTS does, and public broadcasting is brings great programming into your home. Now, one of the things that you will find that KCTS does is a program called the Corporate Match, so that when you subscribe, when you pledge your support to KCTS, there are companies out there that also believe in this great programming, and they will match dollar for dollar your pledge. So if you are working for one of these companies that you see here, they will match dollar for dollar, and it's not a complete list. The volunteers have a much more complete list, so when you call in with your pledge for KCTS, then they can run down that list to see if in fact your corporation also supports KCTS. So if you take advantage of one of those premiums this evening, then your money will be doubled. And I also understand that there are corporate matches in Canada, so you can check with your personnel or human resources department to see if there's a dollar for dollar match, and that doubles the money for the great programming that you see here on Channel 9. But you've got to make that call and talk to the volunteers. 1-800-443-1999.
Edith Piaf was born in 1915. She died 2 months short of her 48th birthday in 1963. A remarkable, remarkable lady. Okay, the premiums we're offering. Edith Piaf, the voice of the sparrow. Wait till you hear the songs in the third section. I'm here to tell you, you'll be humming along and you will remember when you heard those songs. This woman, these songs were in your life at one point or another, and you're going to remember them, and it's going to be good nostalgia time, I'm here to tell you. The audio cassette at the $50 level, the CD at the $70 level, the video of this program at the $80 level. That's obviously the premium, because we just don't have that much archival film of Edith Piaf as she performed, particularly before the Second World War. The video and the CD at the $140 level. In this last segment, I'm not giving anything away because you will see about her funeral and everything that happened. What you don't see is the fact that all of Paris, for the only time since the Second World War, the only time that traffic in Paris came to an absolute standstill was when 2 million Parisians took to the streets to take part in Edith Piaf's funeral. Not bad, huh? 1-800-443-1999. Here's one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, from Vancouver, British Columbia, Lee Carter.
I seem to have no trouble lobbying for KCTS, and I guess because it doesn't seem like I'm selling anything, because in actual fact, it's not like they're paying for something for someone else. The money that people give just comes back to them immediately as soon as they turn on their TV. So maybe that's why I have no problem sort of urging people to support it by sending money in. because they're only doing something good for themselves.
As though the kind of programming you're seeing tonight here on KCTS Channel 9, for instance, this marvelous Edith Piaf program, is not enough. You know, when you become a subscriber to KCTS Channel 9, you also get the 9 magazine, and that is full of information on programs and on when they are going to be run. So if you do miss them, you're not at home, you've got something else to do, you can always tape these programs because they get rerun. And 9 magazine helps you understand that. It gives you a lot of profiles and interesting background. Also, you know, the Channel 9 store is expanding. So you can pick up a lot of the merchandise that you see on these broadcasts at the Channel 9 store. There are now stores in Seattle at downtown Rainier Square, Redmond Town Center, and University Village is the newest store open. And of course, when you become a subscriber to KCTS Channel 9, you get a 10% discount at all those stores. So those are just a few of the ancillary benefits you get. The main thing is the programs. And for those, you need to call now. There's the number on the screen. Go to your phone, please.
Well, this station never ceases to amaze me. The kind of programming, the variety of programming, from the children's programming to great mysteries and music, Austin City Limits. It goes on and on and on. And in fact, the range of ages that they program for is quite amazing as well. There was a time when I thought, well, they don't seem to be programming for the kind of material that I want. And then, of course, I came back to KCTS and found that, in fact, they were. I tuned in one evening a number of months ago to see a Fleetwood Mac concert, and I was absolutely astounded at this production and the quality, and, of course, the audio quality as well was quite amazing. And then, of course, many of you have seen the Bob Dylan concert, and very recently was the Rolling Stones' Bridges to Babylon. So you can see that they are catering to a great variety here of viewers, from the young to the old to the in-between, and that happens, that kind of programming happens because you, the viewer, support KCTS, and that's what it's all about. It is commercial-free television, but it's commercial-free because there are viewers out there who care enough about the kind of programming that they see, the quality programming, the variety of programming that is only found on PBS and KCTS, and it's right here on your dial, and it comes into your home 365 days of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and it is quality programming every minute of the day because enough of you cared to call and call the volunteers this evening. So why don't you do that if you've never done it before, or maybe your subscription has lapsed? Well, it's time to renew. So do that, 1-800-443-1999.
We've had some calls asking what was the cause of Edith Piaf's death. It was cancer. And she suffered from cancer for up to like 5 years before she passed away in 1963. As a matter of fact, about 12 months before she passed away, she did a show in Paris that all of the critics say was Edith Piaf at her absolute finest. They really wondered. She was just skin and bones, and they wondered if she'd be able to finish the concert. Well, she finished it. She finished it like she had never finished a concert before, and they were still cheering when she left the club. They were still cheering. 1-800-443-1999. The Voice of the Sparrow, the audio cassette at the $50 level, the compact disc at the $70 level. Not the music from the program, but much of the music in the program are on these tapes. So really give some thought to that. In fact, I've got the CD, The Voice of the Sparrow. It is wonderful. The Leon Rose video, the program you're watching right now at the $80 level. Remarkable. If you have any interest at all in Edith Piaf, this is almost mandatory because it contains most of the film that's available on her early life, or her early career, I should say, between, say, 1935, 36, and the end of the Second World War, 1945. And then the video and the CD at the $140 level. I hope more of you will call than have, but we're depending on you to call during that last break. So we're going to get back now in a little bit here to the third section. So you stay with us.
Notre amour, c'est comme un peu de blanc. C'est beau le blanc, mais c'est salissant.
Edith Piaf's magic still works, you know. When she was doing Malort a little earlier in the program, and she finished the song, everybody in the green room almost rose to their feet, you know, and wanted to applaud. It's an amazing magic the woman had, and I hope you're enjoying it this evening, especially those of you like myself who live in British Columbia. We'd like to hear from you. Don't forget that phone number on your screen works across the border as well. This is participatory television. That's what I like to call it, two-way television. This is interactive television before there was interactive things, because we depend upon you to interact with us by using those phones you hear ringing in the background to come up with the support that we know you want to have for these kind of programs, because without it, well, then we will not be able to bring it to you, because as we said earlier before, 76% of everything it takes to bring this kind of programming to you comes from you. So please, both here in the United States and those of you in Canada, go to the phone now and use the phone number to support public television.
Dans l'existence qui voudrait bien être amoureux. C'est difficile de me regarder vraiment. T'as pas besoin de parler.
When Edith Piaf passed away, her life and the way she lived her life came in for a good deal of criticism by the officials in Paris and the government of France. As a matter of fact, the Archbishop of Paris refused to give her a church funeral because of her lifestyle, he said. 2 million Parisians disagreed with him. And when they announced that there would be prayers at the gravesite, despite the entire Parisian police force being on hand, 40,000 people broke the police lines and got into the cemetery to say goodbye to Edith Piaf. And I think what is even more remarkable, the traffic jam of Paris, the only one since the end of the Second World War where it was absolute gridlock. You didn't go anywhere. Your car stopped and you got out and walked because the car wasn't going anywhere. Traffic was that heavy. The day after Edith Piaf's funeral in Paris alone, 300,000 of her records were sold. And still, 30 years later, the records continue to sell with the voice of the sparrow. And one of the places that they sell, I think, probably best is in Canada. I'm still amazed at the amount of Edith Piaf music that I heard in that wonderful CD store up in Victoria. And it was an absolute delight. And then you start hearing these songs that the same thing we were doing that Brian was talking about back in the green room. All of a sudden, you say, I remember that. And all of a sudden, you're humming along. And then some memories start coming back, and you suddenly realize just how big a star this lady was. Now we see the premiums that we're offering. I was just about to go back. I guess we shouldn't do that yet. The $50 level, the audio cassette. The $70 level, the compact disc. This is the Voice of the Sparrow album. Edith Piaf, La Vie en Rose, the video of the program you're watching right now at the $80 level. And then if you would like to have the video and the CD at the $140 level. I think public television does a wonderful thing in bringing us information about people like Edith Piaf. For most of us, we would not have the knowledge that we have now about this remarkable lady. And I think the more we learn about people who have overcome so much to achieve so much, only can help all of us. And it's certainly not a bad word for our youngsters, is it? We go back now to the conclusion of Edith Piaf, La Vie en Rose.
Ça ne tournerait pas plus que ça. La terre n'est pas assez ronde pour m'étourdir autant toi. Oh.
Involves you. I never had the chance to see the man live, but you can see in this program this evening the kind of relationship he had with his audience on a live basis. He reveled in it. It was marvelous stuff. I want to talk to you just a little bit here now about whether or not your company that you work for is part of our corporate match program.
Elvis Costello, T-Bone Burnett, Jackson Brown, Katie Lang, Bonnie Raitt, and let's see, who's the Jennifer Warnes are the backup singers, the female singers who are way back up on the top rack on the right-hand side, and they never come down in front. They're never recognized. Katie Lang, Bonnie Raitt, Jennifer Warnes, some of the biggest female singers in history, and certainly just wonderful singers today. The band members are Alex Acuna, percussion, James Burton, guitar, Glenn Harden, piano, Jerry Sheff, bass, Ron Tutt, drums, and Mike Utley on the keyboards. The band itself is a who's who. Let's go back to part 2 and enjoy it, and then you call and support it, all right? Roy Orbison and Friends, a black and white night, one of the great concerts of all time. 2 months after this concert was completed, in 1988, Roy Orbison was dead. He died of a heart attack very suddenly and a fantastic career came to the end. I want to do the premiums, and then I want to tell you about the glasses, okay? Because there are stories about Roy Orbison all over the place, and frankly, none of them are true as far as his glasses are concerned. Okay, here's what we're offering in the way of premiums. We have Roy Orbison's... You're going to love having the premiums, and I thank you for the support of this concert. You know, a lot of people, and I have no idea who they were. I wish I did. I'd give you their names so that they could get credit. A lot of people went to a lot of trouble to get this concert, not even knowing if you'd like it, okay? They took a flyer because they thought, based on what you had supported in the past, you'd probably love a Roy Orbison concert like the Black and White Night. Well, you have, and why not? It's the best thing going. When Roy Orbison died, U2's Bono summed it up when he said writing for him was like writing for Elvis, who was the only comparable vocal talent. His great gift was the turn of pain and bad luck that he experienced, and he turned it into groundbreaking songs. What did Elvis think of Roy Orbison? When asked, he said, Roy Orbison, the greatest singer of all time, period. And if the king says that, I guess we'll have to go along with it, won't we? Did you enjoy the concert? Are you enjoying the concert? Don't go away. For heaven's sakes, don't turn it off now. If you do, you're going to miss Pretty Woman, and you're going to kick yourself for the rest of the year. You really will. Pretty Woman, to me, done by Roy Orbison, is about as good as popular music gets. And it's coming up. Okay, 1-800-443-1999. Please call. If you get into call waiting, stay right there. We'll get to you quickly. Our volunteers are quite wonderful tonight, and they're doing a great job. They will enjoy talking to you. You will enjoy talking to them, okay? And it's all for great programming in your home on KCTS and KYVE in Yakima.
You know, I was recently thinking about a movie that came out in the late 70s called Network. You may remember that film with Peter Finch quoting his famous line about telling everybody to get mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. And when he was on his tirade, one of the things he said, in television, we are in the boredom-killing business. And there are times, I must admit, when with my channel changer, like many of you, you're sitting there and you're clicking through, and I'm thinking of that Bruce Springsteen song about 57 channels and there's nothing on. And yeah, sometimes it really feels like the boredom-killing business out there, doesn't it? Except occasionally when you're channel hopping and you come across PBS. And this happened to me a few months ago when I was going up and down the dial, and I came across a Fleetwood Mac concert. Now, they didn't play in Vancouver, and I really wanted to see them live. And here was a concert. It was as good as being live. I was front row center with my television set, the stereo turned on.
Oh, to see my baby again, and to be